Honestly, I wish I could write myself a letter back when I got my very first Wrangler, so that way you can do it a little bit better than I did and kind of find your way into this new community. Here are 5 things that you need to know after you just bought your first Wrangler. This is kind of the first thing that I wish I knew when I purchased or got my first Wrangler, is figuring out exactly what you want to do with that Jeep. Now, I know that the hype is probably kind of simmering down if you are a first-time Jeep owner and have found this video, but the next thing you're probably going to do is either go to a show, go to YouTube and look at videos like this, or check out all the craziest and most rad builds. The first thing I would really suggest to you is figure out what your biggest intention is to do with the vehicle. Now, I personally sold a lot of vehicles to people, and I ask them this in almost every conversation. What do you want to do with this? You know, have you owned them in the past? Are you reliving a childhood memory? Did your parents have one? But what are your goals with this? Do you live near a beach? Are you going to the mountains? Are you going camping? Or do you just want this thing to daily drive and look good? Whatever you guys want to do with a Wrangler is completely up to you. And that's kind of leading in, there's a secondary point in this first one, is to remember that this is your Jeep. So as you go on and you look up all these mods, all these accessories, remember you're doing it because you like it, and don't let anyone tell you different. So it's good to get the opinion of more than one person. So after this video, hopefully you watch it the whole way through, but after this one, go to a couple other YouTubers, check out their builds and see exactly what you like. So the second thing that you need to know after purchasing a Wrangler or some of the other Jeep vehicles as well is you're not just buying a Jeep, you are buying into a bigger community than just yourself. Now, this goes back to 1941, World War II, the Jeep Wave. Now, rumor has it is that soldiers would use this while driving by each other and put up the 2 fingers as a sign of camaraderie and just to say, hey, what's going on? Now, fast forward 75 years, we're still doing that. We're still doing the Jeep Wave while we roll through. So I let you know, if you see a Jeep waving at you, it's for a purpose. They're waving just to say hello. The coolest other thing that just came about, now I didn't know how I felt about this when it first started, was the ducking thing. So ducking a Jeep or going up and placing a small rubber duck on it. I didn't really get it in the beginning until I walked out one day at Walmart and I saw there was a duck on my door handle of my Wrangler. And I thought to myself, you know, I was just going there to pick up a couple things and I walked out and someone in the community was saying hello just by dropping it there. I don't know who it was. Some of them leave QR codes or names on it, but I just kind of got a little bit of a warm feeling inside. It was cool. And from that point on, even as a hardcore off-roader and doing all these things, I thought it was pretty neat. I've personally met an absolute ton of people from every single walk of life, and I gotta say, it does build a great bond. There's no other brand of vehicle I would dare to say that has as big of shows as the Jeeps do, or really has the same camaraderie that community has. So know for this number 2 point that you're buying a Jeep, but you're also buying into a part of community, so that holds some stock value too, and you guys need to make sure to go out and use it. Now, the third thing that you guys should think about when buying your first Wrangler or really getting into it kind of reflects back to my point number 1, which is to not just listen to one opinion and figure out exactly what you want to do with a Jeep. Now, I've heard this story over and over. I wish I would have went with the larger size lift, the larger size tire, or the bumper that I exactly wanted. If I had a nickel for every time I heard that, I could probably afford a 392, because there were so many people that went with, you know, a 35-inch tire because they were a little bit short on the 37, but knew they wanted to go for that. Or maybe they thought, this will do for now, but I want to push it to a 37. If you guys know exactly what you want to do with your Jeep, definitely go out and do a ton of research online. There's a lot of good YouTube channels, including this one, where we talk about great products, how they install, and whether or not they're reversible or not. So we probably will have a video coming out too soon. Probably the first things or things that I recommend not installing because I've done it and I just wasn't as happy with it, or maybe some tips on how to install some of those mods. Now, we've also got some budgetary friendly mods that we like to install on our Jeeps pretty much every time we get them. So we have an Amazon mods video. We'll leave the link in the description. You can check that out. And then also some of the first 5 things that I personally do to my Wrangler. And a lot of those, like I said, figure out what you want to do with it, but then there's some kind of universal mods that just make daily driving a lot easier. Overall, the point of the matter is figure out what you want to do with your Jeep and then do a ton of research for the aftermarket accessories. Make sure you know how it installs, if it's going to ruin your warranty, or if it's going to be permanent and you're not going to be able to replace it. The last thing you want to do is chop up your Jeep and make it something you don't want just because you thought it looked cool and maybe you didn't look into it as far. I think my number 4 point, we just thought of it while standing here, is really getting to know your Jeep. Now, I will say this, you're going to have to do this within probably the first couple weeks or the first few months of ownership. There's nothing like getting to know everything that you purchase, especially if you buy a brand new one. You want to see all the trinkets, all the knickknacks, and all the goodies that came with a brand new vehicle. And there's nothing like crawling underneath and checking out everything that is on the underside of it. I personally have gotten to know a lot underneath my Wrangler just by crawling underneath and looking at it. And then the second thing I would say, pop your hood and take a look around. Know where your airbox is, know what type of oil it takes, know what everything looks like normally under there, because this can prevent a lot of issues in the future and overall just make you a lot more aware of what you are driving. I would say that if you're going to spend so much time and money on it, really knowing what features your vehicle vehicle has, as well as knowing what it should sound like and what it shouldn't, can save you a lot of headache in the future. Maybe if you guys have some time, read the owner's manual and do some light reading on that to figure out all the intervals, all the mileage requirements, maybe if it's a new vehicle, what kind of warranties you have on it. Overall, getting to know your Jeep is extremely important. It's going to be your baby and your daily driver, and you don't know how far you're going to go in the community, so get to know it, love every inch of it, and really check it out in person. Now, my number 5 and last point I wanted to make in this video is to let your Jeep get out there and explore with you. Now, the name of this channel, Dirt Road Cred, is all about getting out there and earning yours. We say it at the end of every video, and what that means is getting out there and earning your cred and having fun with your vehicle as much as you can and exactly how you see possible. I will tell you that standing behind me are two of the most capable off-road vehicles ever built, and they can take you places that you probably haven't been before. Now, getting out there and doing that is a different thing. So you can look up camping videos and how to do it years and years and years on YouTube, think that you need to pack everything under the sun to make sure you have a good time. But in reality, if you forget to pack 2 of the items, go out there and maybe you don't have a camp light or a starter to start the fire, it makes for a memory, and it's gonna be a lot better the next time that you go. So the last point is to let your Jeep go out there and explore further than you would have felt comfortable with. Of course, do that safely, take some buddies with and another couple of Jeeps, but get out there with these vehicles and really see the potential that they have. Now, these Jeeps weren't built to get the best fuel economy, to look the absolute best in the showroom. They were built to get you out there, explore, and really earn your adventure. I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, my name is Matt from Dirt Road Cred. Get out there and earn yours.